When you're in a prime of your career, issues such as insurance, life cover, it's something that you put behind and say, nah, you know what, I'll deal with it.
Hi, I'm Mark Kluti, founder of My Wealth Guys, and today I have with me Nell Matlala, my friend and client of the last approximately seven years. And Nell's here just to share his experiences with an occupational disability claim, which I think would really offer some valuable insights to you all. So Nell, welcome. Good to have you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. So as I said, it's about 7 years that I've known Nell and his wife, Olga. And when I met him, he was a rising star in the property management world with great prospects for a career ahead of him. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about your career as it was at the time and the kind of aspirations that you had for the future for yourself?
I've been in the property game for quite a while, particularly I'll say asset management. It's been my forte, and aspirations really was to get to the top, maybe CEO level at some point.
Yeah.
And eventually running my own thing.
So looking back to when you first received the diagnosis, what sort of impact was this condition that you have starting to play in your life? Maybe you can share with us what condition you do have and then how it's impacted on you. Because looking at you, you don't look like someone I would label as disabled. You look fine to me.
Yeah.
So how is it that you are now considered disabled?
Yeah, you see, and it's one of the things that I'll say employers or anyone in general is that
Yes.
when you see the physique of a person, you assume that the person is normal. The worst when it happened was when I was with TNPA, Transnet National Ports Authority, and I was in Durban, and I started to have these needle pains. They were coming very severely to the point I got admitted in hospital. And the process took its lengthy time, almost 3 months, whereby they were trying to really figure out and come up with the diagnosis.
Right,
Well, the
yes.
first week of it or second week, they found out that look, you have multiple sclerosis. The MS that I have, fortunately, through the grace of the Lord, it's not a progressive one. It's a relapse remission. So
Right.
it has its days. That's why I'm saying to you, today you'll see me as normal. Come tomorrow, you find a completely different picture. So that's the hecticness of it. And I've learned to live with the disease. The key question was to admit that this is what you have. Sometimes you find yourself not functioning properly. Your mind says, you know what, never you can walk. But somewhere along the line you fall because, there's no clear response of the nerves, to respond to that particular event. So it's a degenerative neurological disease. That's how I'll define it.
Right.
And the problem starts when you don't take care of yourself. Your nerves, they peel off. It's like rats. The immune system, it's attacking itself.
It's like rats have been eating the telephone cables.
Eating that.
Yeah.
And once it becomes lean, the responses don't go to your body properly. That's in a natural way. That's
Yes.
MS. How I can explain it in its simplest form to
And
anyone.
you mentioned that symptoms are sort of intermittent. So I was thinking, if you are somebody who's working in an executive role, and one day you're at work and one day you're not, and one day you're able to think clearly and make decisions, and the next day you're not, it's not long before you are. That's why you can be considered disabled. Is you're not able to perform in the role that you're in, even though you've still got arms and legs and you look fine to me. It's actually got to do with how your whole person functions in relation to the type of work that you do.
No.
And it must impact your personal life too, because if you can't plan, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, maybe tomorrow's the day you can't go on the picnic.
Not even that. If you're saying picnic or either maybe going outdoor, the disease in itself
Doesn't like outdoors.
doesn't like outdoors in terms of weather.
Yes.
See, when it's hot, like now we're facing a heat wave. For any person who has MS, it's a no-no.
So realizing at a point that you're going to have to start going into this claims process of being declared disabled, what sort of feelings and emotions and sort of what's going through your mind?
Yeah, and I'll mention it in my work environment. Well, they use the word risk pool. Once you hear risk pool, and you're starting to think to say, you know what, this is the end of me. Mm-hmm. And you're used to a certain pattern of life, which is now going to be broken down.
Right.
You have to adjust. Mm-hmm. Very difficult.
So now I, on a regular basis, encounter people who just tell me, listen, I'm not really interested in disability cover. Look at me, I'm healthy. This is not my thing. Let's move on to other topics. What message have you got for people who feel that way?
Sure. It's quite a big one. And I'll paint it with Corona. We never anticipated such. Life is uncertain. Yeah. Don't take things light. You don't want to find yourself being shortchanged.
Yes.
We call it unintended consequences.
Yes.
You find yourself that now you have stroke and you start looking and saying, but hey, is it covered? Yes. And you phone your financial advisor and it's too late at that time. And that is the most regretful part that you might find yourself in. I can be, to explain in terms of myself financially, I'm fine, perfectly fine. I can live my life normally. That part is covered. And also it goes through issues of medication. Yes. Chronic disease, it's not the easiest of them all. Yeah. So you got to make sure that financially you're proper. So paying a bit more and topping it up, really, for me, it's the best thing one can do. I'm a living example of that, to be very honest.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, and I think the little bit of cost relative to the huge benefits. Yeah. I mean, imagine if you were having this experience but without money. How difficult that would be and how limiting that is.
You'd have to optimize your own assets, house, car. It changes your lifestyle.
Yes.
To the worst. And at that time, the disease also, it attacks you because you are not fit.
Yes.
So the idea really now, I would say I'm fit in terms of my lifestyle, money-wise, at the stable stage. I can't complain, to be very honest. And it's something that I'll always preach, more especially, Mark, to your professionals. But I know, when we're at the high peak of our career, you never think that something can happen.
Yes.
But you never know. That's why I'm talking about those uncertainties. They're always there. You gotta have to cover your blind spots.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's really helpful. And I hope that it reaches some other people out there, and that if you've been putting off doing something you really should do, this is the time to do it. Not tomorrow. Today is the time to pick up the phone for that. Now, one last question. Given that you're in this situation now, what kind of plans have you got for the future? Can you see a little bit ahead and maybe have some things you'd like to be working on?
Yeah. Future, obviously, hard work, it won't happen. I've admitted to that. I'm going to be I'm developing a blog, a media blog. Mm-hmm. And I call it Awareness Health-Wise. It's not only covering MS. Key issues, it's issues of health, understanding what chronic disease is, if it happens, and more especially making people to understand their life cover. I have to be as frank as possible so that it gets through people that, guys, be careful. There are diseases out there which are more or less, especially at work, driven by pressure. There's depression out there. We take it very light. And it triggers other chronic diseases, and you don't want to find yourself in the worst situation. So the blog is going to deal about that.
Okay. I think that's very relevant in today. These things are increasing.
Exactly.
So, listen, thank you so much for the time you've spent with us today. I really appreciate you being willing to come and be so open and honest. It's a subject that I think people struggle to talk about. And I think you're a great example of success as a person doing their own financial planning, And you're also an example of success for us as financial planners in helping someone to get that done. So we really respect you and value you as a client. You're a great example for others and even for us. I just want to say thanks to everyone who's watching out there. I hope you've watched to the end and enjoyed what you've heard. I hope you've been inspired to take positive action in this regard. And if you'd like to hear more of what we put out, just remember to follow the page and also perhaps look us up on YouTube as well. We'll also have videos posted there. And remember to take it easy out there.